Hi everyone, this is Crispy1001 at kpcoolstuff.com. This is our 18th video on how to use Blender and the Blender2FSX add-on to make models for Flight Simulator 10. In this video we are going to work on UV unwrapping everything and making our main texture. So let's get started. So open Blender or your Blender, your model folder or file, and let's go down and let's initialize our tool set to first start off. Okay, so let's, if you're in wireframe, get out of wireframe, hit the Z key. And first thing I'm going to do is select the body. And remember, we have connected most of our objects into one mesh now for the body, except for the items that we have animated. So with that main item selected, let's go up to this little corner up here where you see little lines going across. Hold down the mouse button and pull it out to make another window. Click right here and click on UV Image Editor. Okay, with your mouse cursor in the 3D workspace, you want to hit Tab to go into edit mode and A to select the fuselage or the main fuselage and body, our wings and everything that we have combined in that one mesh. Okay, and we are going to UV unwrap it. So hit the U key, and we are going to do a smart UV unwrap. You can go in and set up your own, I believe they're called seam lines, and tell UV or the UV unwrap how to unwrap it yourself. But we're just, for this video, we're going to do a smart UV project. So click on that. We're going to set up our island margin of 0.01 and hit OK. Now you can see over here in the right window, it has UV unwrapped the main mesh of our plane project. So let's move this window over some, zoom in, and we are going to hit the A key. We're going to size it down a little bit to make us more room to add more objects. So let's do it about right like that. Hit the G key and move it over to about right there. That's good. Let's size it one more time, make it a little bigger. About like that. Re-grab it. That's good. Okay, so let's hit A to unselect everything. Okay, now what we're going to do, we are going to save the UV at the, we won't save the UV yet. Let's go ahead and create a new image for the burn process. So let's hit New. Let's name it fuselage underscore capital T for texture. We're going to leave it 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. We'll leave it black. We don't need the alpha. We'll be adding an alpha channel later for making the areas we want transparent to be transparent, like the glass. So we don't need that checked. Leave it blank and hit OK. So you can see now, we can zoom out here, that we now have a texture with our UV unwrap over that, and the fuselage on this side has taken that black color for the UV unwrap for the texturing. So we are going to now go to Image. We're going to save image as. We're going to navigate to where our texture folder is. Make sure you're in your test plane project. Click in Textures. It's already named the fuselage _ t.png, that is good, and hit Save as Image. Okay, so we have now saved this image. Okay, we're going to start adding the other parts now that we have not combined into this one mesh. To be able to do this, we need to go in this window here under your image and UV editor, and we need to click under View. We're going to go and check mark the Draw Other Objects. This allows us to see where the other UVs are when we place the other UVs, so we're not overlapping our UVs. So let's go back into our 3D workspace over here, hit the A to unselect, and Tab. I'm going to minimize this window just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to now select the front landing gear. Make sure you hold down the Shift key and select your landing gear. Hit the Tab to go into edit mode and A to select everything. We're now going to hit U for Unwrap, and we're going to do a Smart UV Project. Leave everything default because we've already set the island margin, and hit OK. Okay, we're now going to go down to where it says New Image, and we're going to click on the little icon for image and click on our fuselage texture. Zoom out a little bit. Hit A to select everything. You can see it highlights, and you can still see our body UV unwrapped on it. Hit the S for scale. Scale it down. About like that. Let's zoom in. Move it. Let's hit G to grab it and move it up. Let's scale it down a little bit more, it looks like. Let's see. No, we're alright. Just leave it right there. Go back over to your 3D workspace. Hit A to unselect and Tab. Now remember, keep everything selected that is already selected. Hit the Shift key. Now let's select our front wheel. Let's hit Tab and A to select it. U to go to the UV mapping drop down. Select Smart UV Project again. Leave everything the way we have it. Hit OK. Now again, we're going to go to the little image icon, choose our fuselage texture again, zoom out. We're going to hit the A to select. Now we're going to scale it down again, S and scale. Let's zoom in. Hit the G key, move it up. Let's hit scale one more time. Now, of course, when you're working on a project that you really want to do detail, you're going to have to rearrange this to give you more room for the areas that you want more detail. On this, we're not really doing that much detail, so we're just fitting everything in. But remember that the areas that you want more detail, you really need to give more room for them for the texture. Okay, so now we have the front landing gear and the front landing gear tire. Let's go back over our 3D workspace, hit A to unselect, Tab. Now let's rotate. Now we're going to choose, remember to shift and click the next item you want to select, because you have to have all the items selected so that your UVs for the other objects will show in your placement when you're doing your UV unwrap for the other item. So hold down the Shift and click the left aileron, hit the Tab and A to select everything. Hit U to go into UV mapping. Do a smart UV project. Leave everything the way it is. Hit OK. Go down, hit the little image icon. Select our fuselage texture again. Zoom out a little bit. Hit the A key to select everything. Scale it down. Let's zoom in. Hit G to grab. Let's zoom in to see if we got it. Okay, let's hit G one more time. Drag it down. Let's put it right there. Okay, so that's good. Let's go back over to 3D workspace. Hit A to unselect. Tab to go back into object mode. Let's now select the right aileron. Remember, hold the shift and select the right aileron. Now we're going to go Tab and A to select everything. U key, Smart UV Project. Hit OK. Choose the image icon again. Choose our fuselage texture. Hit A to select it. S for scale. Let's zoom in. Hit G to drag. Let's zoom in. Let's try to get them about the same size. G to grab down, or to move it down. Looks like we're still a little bit off on the size. So let's scale a little bit more. Grab it up. That's good. Okay, so that one is placed. Go back to your 3D workspace, hit A to unselect, Tab to go into object mode, hold down the shift, select the flap, hit Tab and A to select everything, the U key, Smart UV Project, OK, choose our fuselage texture, zoom out a little bit, hit A to select it, S to scale, G to grab, let's zoom in, G to grab, that's good. Go back over your 3D workspace, A to select, unselect, T for Tab, go into object mode, hold down shift, select the other aileron, the other flap, which is your right flap, because I chose the left flap. Hit Tab for object mode, A to select all the faces. And we want to go U for UV mapping, Smart UV Project, OK. Choose our texture again, fuselage texture, A to select it, S for scale, G for grab, zoom in, G to grab, that's good. Okay. So let's go back on the 3D workspace, hit A to unselect everything, and Tab to go into object mode. Now we need to choose, hold down the shift, select the rudder, hit Tab to go into edit mode, A to select all the vertices, or all the faces and vertices, hit the U key to go into UV mapping, Smart UV Project, OK. Click on the little icon, choose our fuselage texture. Oops, escape. Hit A to select everything. Hit S for scale. G to grab, move it over, zoom in, scale a little more, that's good, G to grab, that's good. Go back over to 3D Workspace, A to unselect, Tab to go into edit mode, object mode, and hold down the Shift, select the elevator, control surfaces, hit Tab and A and U, Smart UV project, OK. Choose our texture again, hit A to select everything on the UV image side, or UV Unwrap side, hit S for scale, scale it down, G to grab, zoom in, G to grab, move that right there, let's size it a little more, that's good. We have quite a bit of space we're going to be wasting, but like I said, you could still go in and move the islands around to make areas that you want more space and kind of condense your area there. But okay, no, we still have the nose cones. Okay, so let's go back over to the 3D Workspace, hit A to unselect, Tab. Now, it's going to be hard to choose them here because remember we have 3 on top of each other. So let's go over to our UV tree image. We're going to scroll down till you see spinner blurred. Hold down your Shift and select spinner blurred. Go back in your 3D Workspace. Hit the Tab key to go into object mode. Okay, if you don't have everything already selected like I do, hit the A key to select everything, or all the vertices and faces. Hit U, and then Smart UV Project. OK. Go down, choose our texture again. We're going to hit A to select and scale. G to grab. Zoom in. Scale. That's good. G to grab. Okay. That's good. Go back into 3D Workspace, hit A to unselect everything, and Tab. Now let's go to our tree view again. Scroll down. With the Shift key selected or pressed, click on Spinner Slow. Go back into 3D Workspace, hit Tab to go into edit mode, and A to go in to select everything. The U key, Smart UV Project, and OK. Go down to the image icon, choose our fuselage texture again, hit A to select everything, and S for scale. G to grab, zoom in, scale, grab, that's good. Now let's hit, in the 3D Workspace, hit A to unselect, Tab to go into object mode, go back over to your tree view, hold down Shift, click Spinner Still, go back to your 3D Workspace, hit Tab and A to select everything, hit U, Smart UV Project, OK, choose our fuselage texture again, hit A to select everything, S for scale, G to grab, let's move it, zoom in, scale, grab, That's good. Okay, that should be everything selected. So let's go back in our 3D workspace, hit, let's see, let's leave it as it is. Now let's set up everything to do our baking. So in our object property window over here, or in our properties window, we're going to go to the world, or the little round icon here, and we're going to go down and you will see Ambient Occlusion. We're going to check that. Off to the side will be a factor of 1. You can leave that as 1. This will increase your shadow, or your baked shadow. We're going to hit multiply. I'm going to turn on environment lighting. If you don't, you're going to have to put lamps or lighting around your 3D model. So we're going to hit environment lighting. We're going to leave it energy as 1. Make sure it is white. We're going to go down to our samples. I'm going to turn up to 30. I'm going to click on fall off. I'm going to check the distance to 8 feet, or let's say 6 feet. And after that, the strength will fall to 0. That's good there. Now we want to go to our render tab. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. We're going to see a bake. If yours is not open, click on the bake to open it up. We're going to make sure your bake mode is full render. We're going to change our margin for the pixels that will paint your texture on the outside of your UV mapping. This is set up right now to do 16 pixels on the outside of your UV area. So I'm going to cut that down to 8 bits, or 8 pixels. Everything else we're going to leave the same. And we are going to click on bake. And you'll see it start filling in our texture map. This will take a little while. I'm going to pause the video while it does this, so it doesn't take up time for no reason. So please bear with me. Okay, so once it is done, your texture map will look something like this. Now remember, we just put in simple materials. That's where it got this all from. Even though you saw that the plane was completely black, that was just pulling off of the UV because we had it in a UV mode, and was showing that for the UV mapping at the time we had only black. But when it does the baking, it is pulling from the materials that we had for the different items. And remember, we have several different, well, we have a lot of different materials for the body. So that's where it got all these colors from. Now, of course, you could have had textures for each one of those materials, so you could have had much better looking detail already, and then still bake those textured materials into a new texture map, basically what we did here. And now what we're going to do next, we're going to go back in. Well, first we're going to save. We're going to make a backup of this file so we can always go back if we're not happy with what happens later. We're going to go in and we're going to delete all those materials and then set it up for this one texture. So let's get going. So at this point we can go into our 3D workspace. We can hit A to unselect it, and hit Tab, and then we can just unselect everything. We can close this one now because we don't need it. So go up to this little corner, pull over until you see the arrow, and let release. That will take care of that. Now we can see we're having an issue here on the prop. The reason why we're having this issue here, because remember we have 3 prop spinners on top of each other, and the ambient occlusion is seeing those as shadows. So we'll have to go in and clean that up using GIMP or something like that. And you probably, for doing detail, you're going to be using GIMP or Photoshop or something like that anyway to go in and giving your texture map the detail that you want. So now let's go and let's save our Blender file. I'm not going to close it. I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to navigate to my project main folder. I'm going to click on the Blender file that I'm working on right now. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to click in my backup folder file. I'm going to hit right mouse click and paste. I'm going to click into it once more, and I'm going to rename it by appending it with a underscore, and this will be my 11th backup. Okay, so now if anything happens that I'm not happy with later on, I can always go back and find this one before I removed and got rid of all my materials. So let's minimize this one, go back into Blender. Let's first select the body, which is most of our fuselage and wing. And what we're going to do now, we're going to remove all of these materials. So make sure you're clicked on your lower material, and right here on the negative, start clicking. And you'll see it'll start removing these. We're going to stop at our very top one. We're going to stay right here. Now, we're not going to go into this time, but the next video we are going to go through and we're going to show how to start setting up this for your FS material parameters. Now this time I'm not going to have time to do it, but next video we will. We will also be covering how to set up your alpha channel to make your glass transparent. Because right now, if we export the model after making this texture, making the DDS file for our texture, and running it in FSX, you would have a blue area for your glass. It would not be transparent. We need the alpha channel. We also need to set up the FSX material parameters correctly to do a transparent material. Excuse me. So next video we'll be covering that. So let's go ahead now. We have that main material. We're going to go up to our texture tab. We're going to click on new. I'm going to name this main texture. I'm going to, on type, click on image or movie, scroll down, go open. We're going to navigate to our textures folder. We're going to click on our fuselage underscore T PNG and open it. I think I forgot to save it. Uh-oh. I did forget to save it. Oh, that's not cool. I thought I saved it. Hold on a minute. Let's see what's going on. I didn't save it. So we're going to have to rebake. Well, that's not cool. Okay, well, it shows you what happens. It's a good thing we made a backup. Okay, so I'll show you how to redo the backup. Okay, so we are going to have to close Blender. You know, I could just redo this video and you wouldn't even know this happened, but it's probably good that it did happen so you can see how to go back and fix anything that you may mess up. And this is a mess up. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this right now. I'm going to close this without saving. There's no reason to save. I'm going to go to my main texture, in my main project folder. I'm going to go to the I'm going to go to my backup. Well, first I'm going to go to my test plane 1 main Blender file. I'm going to click on it, and also the test plane 1.blender1, which is the backup of it. I'm going to hold down I'm going to select both of them and hit the delete key. Are you sure? Yes, I am. I'm then going to go to my backup files. I'm going to get the test plane 11, which I made a backup just previous to that mess up. Select it, do a right mouse click and copy. Go back to the main folder and paste. Okay, now we're going to minimize that, reopen Blender, and okay, going to open it. Oops, I forgot to rename it. Okay, so we're going to close. Remember to rename it again. So we want to click on it once. We're going to delete the _11 and enter. Now it's back the way it was supposed to be. Now we'll click on Blender. That's why I didn't come up with my previous or recent opened files. I didn't have it named the same thing. Now you can see there it is. Click on it, and now we're back to where we were before. I think we deleted anything. Let's make sure all our materials are there. It is. Okay, so we're okay. So I'm going to open this back up. I really don't have to have everything selected now, but we will. We'll go back in and select everything. So that's the main fuselage selected. Select the front landing gear, front wheel, elevator, rudder, left aileron, left flap, right aileron. Go to the tree view. There it is. Hold down Shift, click on spinner blurred, spinner slow, spinner still. Then right here we're going to go back into our UV image editor. We're going to hit Tab and A. Make sure to go to View, Draw Other Objects. Okay, there everything is again. Okay, let's rebake. So I need to make sure I have all the baking set up still. So I'm going to click on World, Ambient, Environment Lighting, 30 samples, 6 feet. Okay, that all looks good. Go back to Render. Everything looks good there still. And I'm going to hit Bake again. And I'm going to pause the video while this bakes again so I'm not using up time. So please bear with me. Okay, I am back. Okay, we have it baked again. I'm going to go Image, Save Image. Okay, it said it saved it. This time we're going to actually make sure that it did. So I'm going to navigate to my textures. Ah, there it is. This time we saved it. Okay, so now we can go into our 3D workspace, hit A to unselect, Tab, and Tab one more time to unselect every. Oh, let's see. I'm sorry. Hit A to unselect everything. And now we're going to minimize this window again by pulling it over. Okay. Let's go into textured mode. Okay, now we're going to go into our materials and we're going to re-delete everything again. So let's click on the main body. Make sure you're on the lower material and click on the negative or minus. Okay, now we're on the body. Let's go to our texture now. Tab. Let's go New. Let's name it Main Texture. Excuse me. Type, Image or Movie. Open. Go to our textures, fuselage underscore TPNG, and open image. Much better. Okay, we're going to scroll down under mapping, coordinates, UV, and for map, UV map. Okay, so that sets up that one. Now, we should be able to get rid of all the other materials and use just this one material. So let's now click on the front landing gear, go to materials, let's delete this material, let's click on the little icon here off to the side of new, choose body, the body color, yeah, body color, yep. And let's go, it should have, yep, it has that, has UV mapping. Okay, so everything's good on that one. That's good. Let's go to the tire, do the same thing, material, delete the material, choose the body color. Okay, that one should be set up. It is. Let's go to the aileron, material, let's hit the minus to get rid of it. We're going to go back and choose the body color, that's that one, choose the flap, or left flap, delete that one, choose body color, choose the right flap, delete that one, choose body color, choose the right aileron, delete that, choose body color, click on the rudder, delete, body color, click on the elevator, delete, and body color. Now we need to click on spinner blurred. Remember, we're going to have to fix this in some type of graphics program because our spinner is showing shadows it shouldn't have. But delete, body color, choose spinner slow, delete, body color, and spinner still. Delete body color. Okay. Now let's hit File and Save. That should have took care of all our items except for our prop spinner or our prop blur, which we do not want to do that to it. It has to be that separate image or material. Eventually we will work on doing animating the tires as well. I'm going to have to learn how to do that. I have not did animating of tires yet, so I'll probably go on FS Developer and ask some of the people there that do it all the time, or some of the professionals. Okay, let's see. We've got that done. Let me see how long the video is already. Okay, it's 41 minutes long, so it's much longer than what I wanted to do, but I really couldn't have did this much faster, except for the little problem we had. But at least it showed you too how to go back and get your file back up and running again if you did make a mistake. So I think I'm going to end the program, or end the video now. Our next video will be setting up for the FSX material properties. I'm going to be showing you how to go into GIMP, or you can use Photoshop, but I use GIMP. How to set up the alpha channel for making the glass transparent. And if we have time next video, we will see if we can test it in FSX. So I thank you for watching my video. I hope you've learned something from it, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Bye.